Have you seen the trailer where it's like the doll? It's called Megan. But
Megan?
Yeah, it's like the horror movie with the doll.
Yes, let's see the trailer for Megan. Threegan.
Well, no, it's M3GAN because it's like an AI doll.
Oh, I get it.
So like when you read it out, it's Mithrigan, but like it's just called Megan.
Oh my gosh, Mithrigan sounds like what you would call like an Irish robot. Oh, that's Mithrigan.
Mithrigan. I mean, she kind of was.
01101 Mithrigan.
She looked like she could have been of Irish descent. Well, she had blonde hair, probably more Polish, but it was good. It was actually it's by the same director and writer as Malignant, James Wan, and Insidious. And
Malignant and Insidious were both really good movies.
Mm-hmm. And like he also did your favorite, Conjuring.
Oh, still, yeah, my favorite. We saw that in theaters together when it came out, and both of us were scared.
Yeah, I think that's why it's one of our favorites, right? Because like it was that movie theater experience. That's why Megan was so fun too, because everyone in the theater was into it, you know?
Oh yeah, it's great when a movie can get you so immersed that again you almost forget that you're watching a movie and you're like, holy. Because for me, what it was in The Conjuring especially was when you looked at the wardrobe and it panned up. And there wasn't any loud noises. There wasn't any music. But you pan up and you see the witch, like demon, whatever, above the wardrobe. And it's just like 2 seconds of you just staring at it before it like kind of close-ups in. And that just like got to me.
Yeah, that's what they did in Insidious too. Remember that scene when the mother comes up the stairs after the child like monitors going off, and you kind of look into the room and the guy is behind the curtain above the baby, but it doesn't make any sound. It waits a couple seconds and then it does the sting. It's like you see it,
it's
and
the
then
whole
it's like wow.
You're watching it kind of paused in fear with them because again there is no
like the second it comes on the camera, like fucking yeah, exactly. You know what else makes you feel really immersed and like you're in the moment?
What?
The 6th episode of the Neon Valley Podcast.
You can check us out at neonvalleypodcast.com. Don't go there. That doesn't exist
actually, you know what? Do go there. Thanks for watching. This has been the 5th episode. Everyone go now. Oh, shit. Did I just burn my cord? No, okay, we're good. All right, I'm not going to lie. I want to take one dab before we officially start this.
All right, but I like it.
I already have it heated up. I'm just waiting for it to cool down a little bit. All right, so I'm glad you saw The Glass Onion. I don't want to hear any of your thoughts. I've actually seen 2 movies since we've last done our podcast in theaters.
In theaters? You're a wild son of a bitch.
Well,
it's like $800.
Dude, no, you know what's, and this is not a sponsor, but the Regal Unlimited is only...
Cinema Club.
Yeah, it's only $19 a month, and you can literally see a movie whenever you want.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Because
is it for one person?
Yes. But if you add on a ticket, you get a discount, and then you get a 10% discount for like concession and snacks and all that stuff.
You just go there on days you're not watching movies just to get popcorn just because you can.
Yeah, dude, literally. And they always give out free stuff. Like I have a free thing for like a small popcorn on my, like next time I go, I can just redeem it at the counter. No, it's pretty sweet. It's a good deal.
Sonic movie is.
Yeah, right. Well, it also gives me an excuse to go to the movies because it's like, fuck it, I'll just go see a movie. You know, like might as well.
Also true.
Because tickets are like, especially after matinee, like whatever 5-6 p.m. The tickets are like $15-$16 now. So $18 a month. It's basically just one ticket price.
I was going to say, as long as you see a movie a month, you're getting your money's worth. I see what you're doing, movie theaters. I support it.
It's going to be a fun episode out the gate, I can already tell. We do have some good questions.
Yep.
I asked for some questions.
There are some really great questions in the Discord, which if you're not in the Discord yet...
Yes. What are you doing?
Why?
What are you doing?
You're not enjoying life to the fullest, I'll tell you that much.
You're really not. I mean, like, you probably are going to a therapist and complaining about life, you know? And like, if the therapist just said, hey, join the Skorge Discord so that you can ask questions on the Neon Valley podcast, you would stop going to that therapist because you'd be
Instant
cured.
serotonin.
Yeah.
Serotonin,
Dopamine.
oxycodone.
Yeah, exactly.
Pronouns.
All right, listen. Join the Discord to get asked some sweet questions. We'll get into those in just a second. But my name is Tyler. I also go by Skorge. I am joined, as always, by Mitchell.
I also go by Tsuku.
Yes, he does. By the way, new song, incredible, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, new song Oolong out on all platforms now. Just search Oolong and Tsuku, dude. And that'll be me.
It's funny because I don't know why every time I want to say Oogaloo, it's like I've never been dyslexic, but this one word, every time I look at it, I think
it's starting a word with two O's has been like, who decided that you were going to be allowed to do that?
You did, apparently.
But I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah. Oh, Audrey loves it, by the way. She says it's your best song, hands down, that you've released so far.
I appreciate it. I'm super stoked about that.
Let's jump into a couple of these questions we got here in the Discord.
Yeah, we got some fun questions. I think this is going to be really, really good.
Yeah. You know what? Okay, I'm going to do this one real quick because it relates to what we were kind of talking about pre-podcast. So,
yes.
Gerbils asked, have y'all seen the new Puss in Boots and why not? And I'm going to tell you what, Gerbils, I have. So I don't need your judgment. All right, man. I saw it like fucking a week ago and I've wanted to see it again. I actually would go see it again. It's really good.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah,
I'll say this. I am a big fan of the Shrek franchise. So this isn't like someone just being like shitting on
you're not
the
just
Shrek
a
franchise.
hater. Yeah.
I almost, if I was going to see it, would only do it because I'm a huge Antonio Banderas fan.
Salma Hayek is in it,
so sometimes I can't tell if I just have a bias towards cat things because I'm allergic to cats.
Yeah, I understand it. It's your mortal enemy in a sense. I get that.
Like my brain is like, hey, remember that thing?
But you know
it's
what?
Gonna catch you.
Most things
I've had nightmares of like being jumped by like multiple cats at once. And I don't mean like actually like we have cats that are like from the other side of the tracks and they got a switchblade that they're flipping around and they're jump like literally
you mean like
regular
a 1940s
jump
cats?
on me and I'm freaking out in my dream.
Like, these cats are bad in this.
My brain's like, you need to be prepared. You could be kidnapped or you could be catnapped.
Oh, see, it's true. No, well then maybe you can view this movie from a different angle. It's more of a horror movie. It's like a thriller, you know. It's no, it's genuinely really good. Like you saw Spider-Verse, right? The Into the Spider-Verse.
I did not.
What? Oh my God! Holy fuck! Okay.
And I'm not against seeing it. It just somehow has not made it onto the docket.
Holy shit! No, okay, that's being written down because that'll have to be on the list of movies then that we suggest.
Okay, cool.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, but no, in that vein, the animation is so good. It purposely drops frame rates during action scenes. And at first I didn't know how I would feel about that because so like the normal scenes where they're talking and it's like the everyday normal stuff, it's your regular kind of Shrek 3D animation. Like obviously better than the original Shrek we've modernized, but it's just your standard affair. But whenever it gets into like a battle or a fight scene or like an intense action scene, it drops the frame rate and the art almost becomes painterly, and it's a really, really cool effect. Like, and it almost like gets you excited every time an action scene is coming because you'll see those frame rates drop and you'll be like, oh shit, something's about to happen.
I also like to picture the idea that you just so happened to see it at a theater where the machine was going out that was projecting it.
It doesn't actually do
was
that.
Regular. It was even more better definition.
Yeah, I'm actually it's like people are listening to this like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, what? And I'm like, man,
it's like that was actually some of the greatest animation since James Cameron's the Avatar, the other one that they did.
Oh God, Jesus Christ, yeah.
The water walkers.
You know what? I'm glad you brought this up because I'm gonna
fish people.
I didn't originally, and I don't think fuck it. You know what? I have a vendetta against this movie. this second Avatar movie. I refuse to see it.
I didn't realize I opened up a wound.
Yeah, I refuse to see this movie. Only because James Cameron has the balls to plan out 7 movies, and then he in an interview said that these Marvel movies and all this thing are just a flash in the pan, and like his second Avatar is going to outshine Endgame, and like it's going to destroy all these movies. And it's just like, dude, like, fuck you. Like, I don't even hate your movies. Like, I love James Cameron and I love his movie. But this mindset of like, oh, these new kids on the block.
It's not a real movie unless it meets these parameters that I've set.
Yeah, it's, I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, I'll probably have to check out, since we're talking about Avatar so much, I think I'll really have to check out that Puss in Boots movie you talked about.
I really thought you were going to be like, yeah, I'll have to go see Avatar too. That sounds pretty dope. All right, I'm sorry. I'll lay off Avatar. I'm sorry. But anyway, so yes, you should go see Puss in Boots. Gerbils, thank you for that question. Mitchell, do you have another question lined up?
I do. We have a question from Sidian.
Okay.
You are in charge of making the new competitive sporting league. What activity do you choose? Why?
Okay. A new competitive sporting league.
Because, I'm trying to think about this from if I'm in charge of creating a new competitive sporting league. Okay. So it could be a sport that already exists, or I could make up a sport.
Okay, because I'm trying to.
This is where someone who's a Harry Potter fan could be like, I would make the professional Quidditch league. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I can kind of more understand because the framing of the question is pretty broad, because it could be like what, knuckles, like flinging quarters at each other or something. Like it's like, I don't know if anyone else played that game in high school.
New competitive sporting league, you can make another football league if you wanted.
Yeah.
It might not be as exciting, but
I don't know. I don't know what I would choose.
I'm trying to think, how do I combine lacrosse and Naruto and make that into a sporting league?
I think they did. I think that's just Harry Potter. I think
they took your magic bullshit and they took the real life bullshit and they made their bullshit.
They made their bullshit. No, well, it's funny because the pandemic did really bring out the most odd sports that actually did become sporting leagues. Like, do you remember marble racing? I think me and you got really into marble racing for a while.
Yeah, marble racing was wild, and it was actually really satisfying to watch. I don't know why.
It was. I think it was like the Tornadoes or something was the team that I can't remember.
Oh yeah, the Tornadoes. They had a cool swirl ball.
Yeah, the swirl. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So no. I have mine that I would make then. That could be based on a real thing, and it's something that I think I actually might make us do for an episode. Ooh, this would be good for a live action episode.
Okay.
My league would be, what would the abbreviation be? PIMGL. Can you guess what that stands for?
PIMGL? Professional?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the P.
So
the
I'll
P
go one at a
stands for
time. Okay, so PIMGL. Professional. Professional.
IMGL.
Imagine my good Lucy.
No, the funny thing is, I thought you were actually onto it when you were saying.
What is it?
Professional indoor mini golf league. Well, you just set up different mini golf course. You were saying indoor, I think.
You know what? It's so weird that I drifted away from that. I should have leaned into the indoor thing a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So you just take a cup, or if you have something around that you can hit the ball into that it might not come out of.
A penis.
You put it somewhere, and then you say, okay, you have to hit it past the fucking dryer. You have to bounce it off the shoe. And you just during early pandemic, me and Amanda played this a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty. Or like Kaponk. Do you remember that game from when we were younger?
Is that the one with the sticks and you pull the sticks out and the marbles fall down?
No, it was the one where they sold. It was literally just a cup with ping pong balls, and you would try to trick shot the ping pong balls. Like it came with a stack of cards.
That's right. It was prepping us for trick shots and beer pong.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they knew what they were doing. I think like Bam Margera and the guys from Jackass sponsored it or something like that.
That sounds about right.
Kapunk. But no, if I had to choose one, I did come up with one because I don't know if it would necessarily be a competitive sport like league. I always thought of it more as like a competition show, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I always thought that there should be the equivalent of like an American Idol or something like that with producers where they give them 7 days or maybe even 2 weeks. I don't know. It might depend on the realistic.
3 minutes.
Yeah, right. But like they basically give them each week to produce a song based on a certain parameter, you know? So like, okay, you need to make a pop song that's, upbeat and sounds like it could be
Macarenas.
Yeah, slightly 80s, or something like that. And then they have to produce that song and then play it live. And then even if it's with a band or performing, like, it can still be produced. And then they judge on whether or not. So I don't know, because I feel like producers don't have any kind of competition shows or anything like that. There's never been something along those lines because it's such a niche thing. As at least
it ends up becoming a behind the scenes thing. But I think producers definitely deserve their time in the limelight.
All right, I do. He had another one. He has quite a few questions, which I do appreciate because who knows, maybe we'll save a few of these for the later. I don't know, but there was one that I like. He made right after that.
Go for it.
The wording of it is, "What is your ideal dystopian future?" And it breaks my mind a little bit because it's like an oxymoron, right?
I know, but
like it's because dystopian inherently means it's bad. Like it's dystopian is the opposite of what you want as a culture. But ideal would mean that it's what you want. So it's like, is this your...
Well, okay, so maybe because this is maybe another way to think about what is ideal for us could be dystopian to everyone else.
Okay, so if you're like...
That's philosophical.
I hear you. So if you're like an Elon Musk and the dystopian future is like a robot, overlord type situation.
Like a computer chip that he surgically implants into your brain.
Yeah, that's ideal for him.
He actually wants to do in real life. Yeah, that's ideal for him. That's a little bit, that might be past dystopian and a little bit into Saw territory.
This is a loaded question a little bit though, because I feel like it'll admit anything that we feel like is wrong with the world, because if we're saying...
I got the perfect answer. I think it should be based on the path of Naruto Uzumaki. My ideal dystopian future is there's no presidents. There are Kage. And you have to work really hard to become a Kage. Not entirely sure... I don't think it's as much of an election as they're all like, well, damn, that guy was the strongest.
All right.
He's also super smart, but everybody likes him.
This is bad. This is bad. I don't like this because this is fine though, because this isn't dystopian. I think dystopian arguably dystopian means that like 80% of the population is not okay with what's happening. And I feel like
I felt like dystopian was just like something that is off about the future. What the fuck does dystopian mean?
I guess we could Google it to find the exact answer, but my understanding is that it's like, because utopian, it's the opposite of utopia. Utopia is the perfect society. You know what I mean? It's like everybody is running perfectly off of each other. There is no crime.
It's a speculated community that is undesirable or frightening. It is often treated as an antonym of utopia. Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah. So how could it be ideal?
Exactly. Exactly. So that's why I love this question, because I'm like, what the fuck does he exactly mean?
Okay. If I'm trying to play into the question, then I am making myself, through means of my own decision,
Okay.
the leader of this new government based on Kage system, and everyone will just have to be okay with that. And then they're going to come to find out I'm actually going to be way more bureaucratic than they could have ever imagined, and there's probably going to be more red tape than they were previously anticipating.
Okay. All right.
That's not as good as I can give you for ideal dystopia.
That's fair, man. I think if I'm gonna go with like Hollywood dystopian, I don't know. I think like a cyberpunk future, like Blade Runner or something like that would at least be cool. You get like fucking robot augmentations on your body. It's like, yeah, the world is shitty and everyone hates it and it sucks, but like,
Yeah, but you can shoot cables out of your arms and scale buildings like Spider-Man.
oh, dude, sign me up, bro. Yeah, either that or something with zombies, because then it's like, I don't know, maybe I need to talk to a therapist, but it's like, free headshots, nobody.
Like zombie video games, just with like how creative you can get and like the survival aspect, I think has made that kind of just like a listen. I'm not wishing for it to happen. I'm just saying I'm prepared if it does.
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm ready. Like, I'm not, you know what, Mitchell, that's a perfect idea for an entire episode. We should just each go back and forth with we should write a plan for the zombie apocalypse. And then we literally spend an hour just talking to each other about the logistics of what we would do.
If we Google how much that would cost us and how we would procure said resources. I mean, we did live through the incident of the bath salt that led to somebody biting their face off, and everyone was like, "This is it.
The Miami
This is
face
when it
eater.
happens."
Yeah, I named a song after it. Wow.
I'll say this:
where did that
if
song?
that happened during the pandemic, I for sure people would have. Oh, could you imagine that?
Dude, there's a few things though that should have lined up better. Like, could you imagine if the pandemic happened in 2012? Like, I think people would have actually sacrificed themselves. Like, we would have had an actual
people
problem.
would have done crazy because they were doing crazy stuff as it was.
Yeah, and there wasn't even like an actual apocalypse on the line. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
No. Do you know what time it is?
Is it movie time?
I was going to say, should we just transition into movie time? I do have something. You know what? No, I don't think this will be too long.
No, go ahead. What is it? What is it? Please. I don't want. I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
So I mentioned.
Okay.
My grandfather wrote articles on golf.
Oh.
I have them in the mail. I'm
actually got them?
opening the envelope as we speak. I haven't even looked at them yet.
Okay.
So because I want you guys to have the same experience, it came mailed. The articles were mailed in a big the kind of manila, I think that's the right wording for it, the yellow envelopes. Oh, there's a green. Oh, okay. So we have one paper that is an email from David. Okay, so from my grandfather. And then there's another.
What's happening?
Okay, so there's two sets. There's one single sheet of paper, which is an email. These are putting instructions.
A printed out email?
Yes, it's a printed out email.
Okay. Okay.
And then so it's a printed out email to my dad. He scribbled out my dad's name and he wrote my name above it. This is beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna start with the putting instructions.
Instead of just emailing you the same email, like CCing you, instead of just email, he printed the email he sent and scribbled out the name and wrote your. Okay, anyway, that's beautiful.
And then mailed it. I love my grandfather. Okay, so these are putting instructions for anyone out there trying to be a better putter.
Okay.
Okay, so it starts with laminate in place in your golf bag as a reminder. So the idea is that I would have laminated this email,
yes,
and kept it in my golf bag in case I forgot the putting instructions. Okay, so that explains why an email was printed out and sent.
Of course,
speed in all putts is paramount. Okay, that's what we're starting with. Everything has two periods afterwards.
You know what?
Interesting. I feel like that's for effect.
I like to think that every tip should be done step at a time. So if I'm up at the green right now, I'm about to make my putt, right?
You're starting with making sure that
shit.
this is laminated and placed in your golf bag as a reminder.
Oh, dude, that's already been done.
Because if you didn't do that, you've already fucked up. Because that's the first step.
I'm so sorry, but you don't even have to worry about that. I would never forget that. It's in my pocket.
Okay, good. Okay, so in that case, the first step to putting.
Dude, I'm hitting this thing as hard as possible. Fucking speed, baby. Let's go. What's the second tip?
Square putter to the target and have solid contact.
Okay, I already hit the ball. I hit it as hard as I possibly could because of step 1. So
I got the speed part. He didn't really say how much,
I need to reset the ball
so,
now, is what you're saying? Okay, all right. Let me reset the ball.
Well, so the third step.
All right.
Initially, practice many 4 to 8 foot putts to instill confidence.
Okay, so
the third step is to prepare before you're putting.
I'm not gonna listen. I don't want to be anal, and I don't want to judge your grandpa. All right, he's a great man. I'm sure he's incredible at golf. What he's not good at is making steps. That should be step 1. If you need to practice
Initially
things,
practice many 4 to 8
so
foot
you're telling me I'm already on the field, I'm already on the green, like I'm already out there, right? And I'm reading these steps, and I'm 3 steps
these
in.
Are steps for in the moment.
I'm 3 steps in. They're supposed to be laminated on the field. That's what he wrote. So I'm 3 steps in, and he's like, make sure to practice 4 to 8 strokes. It's like, what? I don't have time for that, dude. I'm already out here. That should have been step 1. All right, continue.
All right, well, don't worry, because I think the next step is really going to help you out.
All right, perfect. I'm ready. I'm on board, dude.
Acceleration is always, but is dependent on speed of the greens. Faster greens require softer acceleration. Slower greens require a more aggressive stroke.
All right, so this is feeling similar to the first tip, but more of an expansion.
Speed in all putts is paramount.
Right, so then he's more expanding on the first tip in the fourth tip, which I appreciate.
Yes,
because
so
the first tip was vague. Remember, we've been over this. The first tip, I just launched the ball. So he's expanding. This is good. So it's about acceleration.
Okay. Okay. So now we're getting juicy details. From behind the golf ball, looking at the hole or line, visualize the pace of the putt and commit to that speed and line. You got to commit.
He's asking a lot from me. I thought, like... All right. No, I'm on board. I think I got this. I think I can do this. So keep going.
Okay. Hold on. Okay. Shorter putts, normally inside of shoulder. Longer putts, 25 feet or more. Try widening your feet just outside your shoulders. So for shorter putts, keep your feet normally inside of your shoulder range, I think is what he's referring to there.
Bring your feet in.
And then longer putts.
So bring your feet in equal with your shoulders.
Yeah, longer putts, you want to widen your feet outside of your shoulders. Weight 50-50 shifted between.
Okay. I'm more of a 60-40 guy myself, but that's fine.
All right. So those were the steps. Okay. So now we're at the remember state of the notes.
Oh, okay. So we have to remember all this stuff after we've done all these steps.
So remember, stay while putting, not rigid, especially your head. Stay still while putting. That was on me. I forgot to read the word.
Okay, I was like, stay while putting. Stay where? Like on the... I'm not
Yeah, no, that was on me not reading the word. Stay still while putting, not rigid, especially your head.
Okay.
That's fair. You don't want to be too tense.
Yeah, you're not a robot, but you want to be still. Okay, all right.
Keep eyes over the ball, chin very still, or back of your neck if that's easier to do. Yeah, pretty much he's saying where your head should be over the golf ball itself when you're putting. So that is correct. You want to keep your eyes over the ball. You want to keep your chin still.
You do want to look at the ball.
Grip pressure. Grip pressure can vary, but between 4 to 6 on a 1 to 10 scale is recommended.
That is what I've heard.
Okay, keep putter head usually continuing toward hole. unless it's a short putt or downhill. I got you. You're saying not to just stop the putt.
Yeah,
I'll say
follow through.
these are a little bit more solid than maybe some of that paragraph before.
Yeah, you know what? He should have
Or
really.
the notes.
He really. Some of these remembers should be the actual tips. Yeah, he needs an editor. A good editor is what I would say. But these are all solid.
He's got the ideas out here. And then hope these thoughts can assist you in being a better putter. Oh,
Beautiful.
and then we have like a I guess, what it's the credits.
Oh,
I don't know if credits.
George Lucas.
This is his. No, it's like his not resume. It is his the people who like do your product and then they're like, yeah, pay the testimonial.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. So after a 3-day instructional session with these tips, Mr. Patrick, I won't say the last name because I'm sure that my grandfather's friend is very hip with the times and is on the computer. So Mr. Patrick shot in a tour event 3 consecutive 63s and then a final round of 68, which meant so multiple tournament days, and each day he shot 63, and the final round he shot 68, which are great scores. Apparently all based on the tips from this email.
Bravo.
Shortly thereafter, he won the Masters.
Holy shit. So you're telling me this man never played golf before and then read these emails? Just kidding. I'm overblowing it a little bit.
Wait. Okay, because he actually lists out a person, and then he's saying that he won. Hold on, Patrick. I'm not going to say the last name.
Well, now you're making it pretty easy.
Wait, what?
Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback?
No. And I won't say the year this guy won.
Okay.
But
Are you questioning the validity of this?
No, like I understand the validity of this. It's more of I'm trying to figure out maybe how all of the story was pieced together.
This goes deeper than we thought.
But you know what? That's okay. Maybe that'll be some information for the Patreon.
Yeah.
But yeah, he finishes it with "Good luck, son, and always play your best. Love you."
Wow. That's beautiful.
So I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have to just show you in person the article. I guess he wrote.
I do need.
It's titled "Thinking About Playing Around?" Question mark. Think again! Exclamation point. And there's 6 pages to it.
That sounds like the title of a fucking game theory episode. Like
it does.
Thinking about playing around. Think again.
Yeah. But yeah, it's 6 pages. It is
6 pages. Good Lord. All right. Yeah, I'm down.
Oh, this is a treat.
I'll take a bath.
This is a treat.
Throw in some Epsom salt. Put on some good music. I'll read it. That's amazing. Thank you, Mitchell.
But yeah, I hope you guys. I hope that improved your guys' putting game.
Yeah, to all of our avid golf listeners out there, I'm sure after our last episode of a silent voice, the listeners we picked up from our silent voice review, I'm sure a lot of them are avid golfers, and they'll very much appreciate.
Yeah, our demographic is looking. Picture at a convention, you see all the different people that are at our booth. You got rap fans, you got anime ravers.
Yeah, it'll look like
anime ravers. I meant to say 2 different things, but you know what? I'm keeping that. The anime ravers.
It'll look like the callback for like a Tim Burton movie, where it's just like, oh, we have a golfer, and oh, look, there's a seamstress, and oh, look, we have a we have a rapper. Oh, wow, look at this. Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so are we going on to Glass Onion? Is it time?
Yes, I think it is time to peel back on this onion.
Ooh, look at you. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive into this. Motherfucker.
All right. So we're doing our deep dive.
Deep dive, glass onion. The 10 things you didn't notice in glass onion. In Glunion.
The big old penis.
All right.
All right. So to start off, the opening scene.
Yes.
My first note. There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Okay. So
like
the split screen and like the all the different characters.
And it was just like, okay, you got a lot of different characters in a lot of different scenes, and you're kind of introduced to them briefly. But what happened, at least what I kind of saw, was it was progressive. Because by the end, you get to Birdie, who's... Now, I don't remember if I misremembering the first part wrong.
Okay.
But at her, like, outro kind of segment at the end of that whole scene, there's a guy that's kind of dancing off to the side, and there's no music playing in the room. And throughout this movie, they play music in rooms when people are listening to music in a room. But this guy's literally just dancing, and there's no music playing. So part of me was just like, I am ingesting a lot of things at once, and it was kind of scary.
Okay, I can see. Yeah, so the excuse me, it was giving you like an audio visual like trip, like you didn't really.
Yeah, it was the sensory overload for me to like, because it was to the point where I thought I was missing parts of the story because I was trying to figure out what was happening in the scene.
To be fair, I do think that people were clearly tripping balls at her party, like Birdie's party at the beginning. So I think the dude dancing by himself with no music.
Oh, that could make sense. Okay, yeah.
Might not have been too out of place.
But also, like, what kind of party was that? Because it's like 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. I don't know what day it was.
Yeah, it was a little... Well, I will admit that especially being a sequel, I think it almost makes it a little confusing because...
This is a sequel?
Yeah, I told you that.
Wait, what? Hold on. I need to do a text message fact check.
No, there was no text message. I said this in it's in the podcast. Like people that listen to episode 4 are gonna know.
Oh, that's right. You said, but you don't need to see it, the first one, in order to watch this. Like, and yeah, to be fair. Oh, okay. So a lot of things they were referencing before was the alpha stuff the first movie?
No. So nothing.
Oh, okay. That was its own storyline.
And that's what I was going to say, is that nothing involving any of these characters was in the first movie. So the beginning being so hectic and like throwing a bunch of stuff at you, even Audrey was kind of like, oh, am I supposed to know who that is? Like, am I supposed to? And I was just kind of like, no, like none of these characters.
That's just this style.
Yeah. I think they just needed to shove a lot of characters into the first 10 to 15 minutes, you know? So they did the real quick kind of fast-paced splits, which, by the way, I have an M. Night Shyamalan twist for you in all of this, because I think there's something you haven't realized, and it's a beautiful thing that I've been able to keep secret this whole time, but we'll get to it. Anyway.
Okay.
So...
You scored the movie.
Yeah, I made this movie. No, so... I think the beginning was just trying to like really push all of the characters we needed to know about into the movie as quick as possible.
As quickly as they could.
But because it's a sequel, if there's someone who hasn't seen the original or maybe doesn't remember it, they might be sitting there like, wait, am I supposed to know what the fuck is going on 100%? You know? So I can, it's a little hard, but it ties itself up neatly by the time that they're all figuring out the puzzle, you're pretty on board. You're kind of like, okay, I know what's going on. You know what I mean?
Okay, so that was the other thing, right?
Oh boy.
The puzzle got solved like too quick in my opinion. Now, again, these are initial thoughts before I realized like they're used to these kind of games from him. Mm-hmm. But like the mom part of just knowing exactly was a little bit much for me in terms of just like, oh, it's this.
Yeah.
How could you not tell?
Well,
then the fucking odds that somebody knew music well enough to be standing by, well, actually, it's one of the, like, There was a couple of
Yeah.
those kind of like movie moments where it just like felt a little bit too like, well, I'm definitely watching a movie.
Okay. Well, I don't want to. Should we dive immediately into spoilers? I don't know. Because I don't.
Well, okay, so first there will be spoilers because we're gonna review this movie.
Yeah, we always
I
do.
kind of don't mind as long as we don't go too far into it, because I also had realized that at some point in the movie, it explains a lot of things that feels like it shouldn't make sense initially.
Okay, maybe there's a way. All right.
We'll just leave it at that. We're gonna review the scenes as I had seen them.
We'll keep going. Yeah. Because I think that I will play off of that though, where I get what you're saying and I agree with you. Where I thought it was a little too comedic, where the mother was like, "Oh, that's the Fibonacci sequence," and it's like, okay, and then the guy sitting next to her,
Especially because, like, was she involved in these games?
Yeah.
Like, okay, if I get them like figuring out the puzzles, but why does she know?
and the guy eating pizza off to the side, who's like, "Oh yeah, that's the fucking Mozart's whatever," or I don't even think it was, but you know what I mean. Like you said, it's very specific. But I think later there's something that happens later in the movie, especially near the end, that upon rewatching, oh my god, excuse me, that upon rewatching and like recollection, it works, and I think for a different reason, and not just, oh, I'm watching a movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, this doesn't just work because it's convenient for the movie. It actually works because of the characters' motives, which we will get to later. So
Okay,
okay,
I could roll with that.
all right. So what do you have next?
All right, so next, that was the odds of someone knowing the music. So we talked about that. We already talked about weird day party, but no music dancing. I did like Hammer Lady strategy was most realistic.
Yes.
So that was when we're introduced to Andy destroying the box with the hammer to figure out how to get into it.
Yes. Which was a hilarious juxtaposition, because they build up how it's like, oh, all these geniuses that know all these puzzles, and then it just cuts to her just smashing it, and you're like, yeah, well,
Mashing it.
yeah, you could also get into it like that. Like, that's just as smart at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, that I was actually a big fan of that.
Which again has a different context. I don't know if you noticed.
Wait, what did you say initially?
Oh, I'm saying that why she broke it open actually means something different later.
Yeah, there's there's
reveal.
substance as to the purpose.
Yes, there's a reveal later that, yeah. So, okay. So do you have a note?
My next note is I'm a huge fan of country Daniel Craig.
Oh, dude, the fucking foghorn leghorn. Oh, so.
Oh my god.
We got a murderer.
The over exaggerated. Here's the thing. If it was any other actor, especially somebody who is actually Southern, I would have been like, this is way too over the top, and it's too much. But something about it came off so genuine and charming from him. God, I was just a big fan. I loved how over the top it felt. But I think that also helped to play in, like, from a psychological standpoint, you would be more likely to keep your guard lowered around some guy from that sounds like that than, some like detective type that's really kind of quiet and smokes a cigarette off to the side but doesn't make direct eye contact.
It's so true. I had a really weird moment at work one time because a guy came in and he had the most thick Southern drawl, just like Daniel Craig in this movie. Like, he walked up and he was like, "Let me get 2 packs of cigarettes." Like, he had this, like, like, I can't do it exactly, but he had that. And like, immediately I was like enthralled. I was just like, and I almost matched him. I was like, "Yeah, anything you need." Like,
there's a part of you that's almost like, I want to show
it.
you I appreciate this, and I want to be a part of this.
It was so fucking weird. I had to stop myself. I was just like, "Yeah, absolutely." And I was like, no, I got you.
Yeah, well, sorry, I had something in my throat.
It's so fucking cool. But the first movie does actually make fun of that factor too, a little bit. Like, it leans into that joke of him having that thick accent. Like Chris.
Oh, really?
No, wait. Who is it? Who plays Captain America?
Chris Evans.
Thank you. Chris Evans, he's in the first Knives Out movie, and
Okay.
I can't even remember the exact joke, and I'm gonna butcher it, but he basically like looks at Daniel Craig after he talks for a while and goes like, "Huh, Kentucky Fried Crime Scene," or something like that. And like they lean into that joke of him having that real Southern drawl, but yeah, his voice is incredible. And I love it how he's playing Among Us. And when they first had that scene at the beginning, I was like, oh no. Like, are they really going to lean into like memes, and like modern?
But it was symbolic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I like it how they set up that this was set during 2020, so they're all supposed to be isolated. So a detective might be playing Among Us because he's like, well, it's something I can do that's similar to my career, like.
Also, I like how he goes, or the one girl was like, maybe we should play Quiplash. So I wanted to say shout out to Jackbox Games for getting that name drop. We'll have to play that sometime. Oh yeah. Um yeah, I hated movie timing situations. Oh, I think it was he was just getting off okay. The round he was playing in an online game just so happened to have ended. They had just finished their conversation about him needing to get back into something and him saying like, "Well, I have, stuff." And then he doesn't have anything. And then there's a knock at the door, like everything. But again, I realize no, but it's like 4 hours later. Like he has that conversation with them, and then it's like 4 hours later, and he's staring off on his balcony which also I was like, I don't picture somebody. I mean, I don't know why. Like, I felt like that was a very British place to live.
That's very true. So, but yeah, that's true. But so you're saying you want this movie to be like 10 to 15 minutes longer so they can add bullshit scenes like that?
No, just skip that part. But like, don't make the scene like it was all in the same moment.
All right. Okay. I get it.
It's a weird problem. Okay.
It's
okay. Yeah, it's fine. It's not even a problem. It's my problem with how I see it.
I won't lie. I'm over exaggerating for the podcast, but it's. I get what you're saying. The convenience of it is very convenient.
It works out very perfectly. Okay, so the next one is again something that will make sense later on, but we're going to go just based off notes that I wrote because these were written in the moment.
Okay, I love this.
Who stares off on a boat for that long? When Andy is just on the bow.
Which, okay, so
the bow, I believe, because
that's why I like this movie because, and again, I'm not head over heels about it, which we'll get into. Like we'll talk more about it. I do like this movie a lot. I don't think it's perfect. I think there are some problems with it. I think, but what I do really like about it is that it pays homage to the kind of Agatha Christie novels and movie adaptations of those murder mysteries, and there's always those very dramatic moments of people staring off into the distance, on a boat, or like, having long dramatic conversations.
It's kind of like normal for that kind of like with anime. People don't have conversations in anime the way they do in real life, but you fucking love watching someone say, like, tell a fucking whole story about their backstory to like their arch nemesis, who's like, we still have to be enemies.
Yeah, or you wouldn't notice like in an anime when a character is constantly going like, like you might not notice that because it's like, yeah, that's an anime. But if someone started doing that in like a Hollywood movie, you'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Is he okay? Is he having like a panic attack?
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. So I'll give it that.
Yeah, so I think it leans into those, especially near the beginning, those kind of tropes of the mystery thriller. She's mysterious. You can't see her face. She's staring off of the boat, and it's very mysterious.
Yep. And then okay, so now we're on the island.
Wait, maybe we should. Okay.
My first note here.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. I do want to say that if there's anyone watching this that hasn't seen the movie and is still listening to this, is just interested in our conversation, I guess maybe we should kind of narrate what's happening a little bit. So all of these characters received a box in which that they have to solve puzzles. And when they solve these puzzles, they get a little note that tells them that they need to go to an island to solve a murder. And the idea is that this guy, this very rich, kind of like an Elon Musk, Bezos
kind of character.
Yeah, Russell Brand. Excuse me. Kind of character is throwing a murder mystery party that he does every year. And he invited all these people that he considers the disruptors or whatever. And they're all invited to this island. And also Daniel Craig, who was our original protagonist of the first movie, the detective, is invited as well with the box. And so the point we're at now is they all kind of converge to this boat. They all know each other, but the only person who doesn't know anyone is Daniel Craig. And Andy is kind of an outcast, which is kind of unknown for the reasons right now. Like they kind of say like, oh, well, she couldn't keep up or she got screwed over or something like that. Like they don't really at this point clarify.
They don't
why.
outright say what her past is or why she's not like a part of that core group, even though they all know her and she knows them. They seem surprised that she's there.
Yeah. So, but they do say that she's invited every year. She just never shows up. Which now that I say that out loud is interesting to what comes later. Okay. Anyway, so they're all on the boat. And they're heading towards the island of the actual this kind of Elon Musk character. What is his name? Did you note down his name? I didn't. Miles. Okay. I should bring this up on Google, the characters' names, because I didn't.
Oh yeah.
Remember
because right off the bat, my first note once they get off the boat, once they've reached the island, is Miles and Whiskey either had or have a thing.
Oh yeah.
Something
100%.
we'll dive into later on. We're going to have a lot of those, which I also think is a good thing.
Yeah, this movie has a lot of layers. It has a lot of replayability. Joseph Gordon-Levitt was in this movie? Wait, who did he play? Wait, what?
Daryl. Oh, because that was my next note. I love Daryl. Daryl's my favorite character.
Oh my God, dude. Yes, just ignore me. Not even here.
He's walking with a box of Coronas.
Dude, it was incredible. Wow, he might have actually been Daryl. I don't see anybody else in this. Was that Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Okay, all right, that's not important.
No way. Okay.
Did you notice that the guy who shot the COVID vaccine into their mouths at the beginning, which was a weird moment that they don't come back to, but I just kind of took it off as like, oh, they need an explanation of why they're not going to get COVID or something.
Why they're going to be able to be so close in proximity, and it's just some rich billionaire bullshit, which I was like, yeah, no, I believe that 1,000,000,000%.
Yeah. Did you notice that's Ethan Hawke? That's the guy from Sinister. And
I was about to say that's Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking?
Tony Hawk.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking? Yeah, no, that's Ethan Hawke. It's a world-renowned actor, Mitchell. Show some respect. So anyway, okay, what was your next note? Yeah, the whiskey thing, right?
Okay, so after that, I said Whiskey Hoen. Because that was when... So because I don't want to, like, do, like, every kind of scene by scene.
Yeah,
but
of course.
They're all hanging out. They're at the pool. They decide to go back to their rooms, and Whiskey, who is Duke, and Duke is this, I think he's supposed to be like the Liver King, because he's a super
Joe
macho
Rogan.
dude.
Yeah, for sure.
They refer to him as a men's rights activist.
Yeah, I took him as a Joe Rogan kind of guy.
But yeah, so he is he's actually watching as Whiskey is going into bed with Miles, and they're hooking up.
Yeah,
and they're almost caught by the clever detective, but the detective was too smooth and was able to get out of the way. So he's able to observe that Duke now is watching this happen. So Whiskey Hoen was my next note there.
They're creating motive. The whole movie creates really good motives for almost everyone. because you know a murder is going to happen,
Yes.
right? Like,
Yep.
and they kind
And
of
then
set up
and then
that
my
it's going to
next
be
note.
Miles, but you don't know.
Oh yeah. Yep. My next note was more of a. It was an assumption before I think I had a better understanding of what the movie was, because at one point Miles starts talking to the group about like we're breaking and we break things that people don't want us to break. And I was wondering if that breaking was referring to the state of the friendship, that he was trying to break it, which isn't the case. It was just an assumption that I had made at this point. Like, I was
That's
wondering
fair.
if he was secretly trying to sabotage all the relationships.
Oh, that's a good observation. Like, I mean, yeah, it ultimately doesn't really pan out, but that's interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting
But
point.
yeah, like if the whole point was just to prove that he could get away with it because like he had that much power over them.
Yeah, which really, that whole speech was just kind of a hollow nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, so much of it just became, and it was actually genius how, and they even he called it out. He was using the wrong words at times and stuff like that. But we'll get more into that later.
dude, like that bothered me. I was literally watching the movie, like, and again, I know, well,
It,
we'll talk about it more, but yeah, there were certain words that Miles was using that I'm just like, what? That's not the right word.
it does
Like,
a great job of putting everything in front of you. In okay, so
it's
like
a
in a
glass
horror
onion.
movie
It's a
where
glass
maybe you
onion.
don't see something right away, this movie will put something in front of you, but the scene is designed so that way you're not paying attention to that exactly. So that way when they refer back to the scene, you watch that scene, there's just a high chance that you might not have missed a key word that he said or a key movement in the scene.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that a little
No,
bit more
dude,
later
it
as well.
literally is a glass onion. Like, I I thought it was such a great metaphor. It's a great metaphor, like the glass, and he even says it in the movie. And it's funny because when they first got to the island,
I like the
and-
reference to it.
yeah, and when they first got to the island, and Edward Norton characters Miles, the kind of eccentric billionaire who invites them all to the island, when he's showing them the glass onion house, and he's saying that it's meant to be like a beacon of creativity, I leaned over to Audrey and I was like, it's kind of ironic to make a beacon of creativity a glass onion, because creativity is meant to mean something deeper, and a glass onion is literally layers that show you nothing, you know? And then literally like 2 or 3 scenes later, Daniel Craig's character goes, I love the metaphor of the glass onion because there's so many layers, but you can't see anything. And I was like, yes, I was like, that's what I was fucking saying. Like, so the movie does kind of outright say it, but it doesn't do it in a condescending way. Like it makes sense for the character of
It's not out of character for them to refer to it. It fits in with the scene naturally, where even if they didn't make the movie called Glass Onion, that reference would still make sense in the scene perfectly.
exactly. What's his name? Benoit Blanc, I think, as his
Benoit Blanc. I just like to call him the detective.
But yeah, like he's very proud of being intelligent, you know, and not even to a fault, like maybe sometimes to a fault, like is seen in the movie, but he's just very proud of his intelligence and like wants to show it off, you know? And the fact that he appreciates something like a glass onion metaphor feels like something he would want to point out. And it kind of bothered me because it's like, fuck, why did I feel the need to point it out to my girlfriend, where I'm like, oh, I know this thing. That's a glass onion. Like, but yeah, no, it's a really poignant metaphor for everything in the movie, of kind of showing you right up front, but having multiple layers, but also telling you the beginning. Telling you the ending from the beginning. Okay, so anyway, what does your next note go into?
So the next one is, there's a scene where Peg is running around, I think, looking for Birdie, and Daniel Craig is standing behind the statue.
Peg is Birdie's
And
assistant, correct? Right?
Yes, Peg is Birdie's assistant. That is way more responsible than Birdie is.
Yes.
But Peg is looking over at the statue while Daniel Craig's head is poked out. She does not see him. She does not react to him.
It's almost like a comedic moment. Yeah. Yeah.
It just made me mad.
That's fair. That's fair.
But small tiff. Okay, on to bigger and better things. I typed out a long ass 3 lines of sentence in my notes on that. Smoking scene was hella funny when he's in the garden and then it starts going off on the alarm.
Oh yeah, which is a great. I don't know if it was on purpose. I'm assuming it was for the writing, but it places a perfect marker in time where later in the movie when they have flashbacks and you hear that alarm going off, you know exactly when that happened.
When it was that they were referring to.
Yeah, where the characters
many little
were.
Subtle details that they got done so well in this movie.
Yeah, I did really appreciate all of those small details that kind of make you want to rewatch it or kind of, figure out what I missed or, what. And it's not even that deep of a movie. There's just a lot to follow. There was at one point me and Audrey had a foolproof explanation of the murder. We were just yeah, this is absolutely what happened, about halfway through the movie. And then the movie just threw that on its head and was nope, not even fucking close. And we were oh shit. But they set up all these possibilities, all of these caveats and all these red herrings that make it where it's yeah, it absolutely could have been this person. No doubt. Like you brought up Peg, the assistant.
Mm.
There was a time where we 100% thought she was the murderer because there was this whole thing about so I saw this movie 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe even longer. So I'm trying to remember everything. But there was a whole subplot of something happening where everyone got messages. Okay. Andy.
She had evidence that showed that she had the intellectual property rights.
No, not that. It was the part where Andy had sent. Yeah. I think that's what you're talking about. Where Andy had sent out an email to everyone with her red envelope, right? And and the thing that they made very clear multiple times was Peg was in charge of Birdie's phone. Was that Birdie did not have access to her phone. Peg had to go through all of her emails first. So if Peg was to see an email that threatened Birdie's career because of something that would bring down Miles, that would make it so that she would be the murderer. Do you know what I mean? They set up so many things that would be perfect if it was but it's not.
There were motives for everyone.
Exactly. It's so well set up. And I guess I'm kind of spoiling it by saying that Peg isn't one of them or the murderer, I guess, or, whatever. But that's only a small thing. I just...
Bam, just peeled back a layer.
Yeah, that's just one of the onions, baby.
Okay, so next up is... If all the staff is gone, who the fuck set everything up for dinner?
You know what? Edward Norton is a very resourceful guy. He might not be good at a lot of things, but he can set up a damn table. That's for sure. Yeah, I
was just who's making the dinner? Who set up all the statues and shit like that? But they didn't move it, so maybe it was all set up before and then they left. But I was still, who's preparing all their meals for them if there's no staff?
Okay, yeah, the dinner thing is... Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
That's the only thing that I have not been able to explain or figure out yet.
Yeah, because there isn't... Daryl?
Daryl's not cooking. I mean, he's cooking, but he's cooking something else.
But yeah, but that leads up to the murder, right? Or the fake murder. So it all leads up to the murder mystery that Miles set up.
Which I actually loved how that all went down. The detective was pretty much, it was meant to take a weekend for them to figure out. And right as Miles is finishing up the explanation of the rules, the detective pretty much goes, well, I would like to solve it pretty much, and then does just that, and is able to figure out and decipher the whole thing in like minutes, maybe is the scene, but it really feels like it took him seconds to be like, yeah, it was Birdie with a crossbow in this room, and this is the reason why you got to lock it on your neck. Like,
It was amazing.
fucking genius. And I actually liked it because where typically you're like, okay, really, how would you be able to figure that out? It is really set up that this guy is like a billionaire, but okay, so he mentions, and the only reason I bring this up at this point is because he mentions how he had people design all of his stuff.
Yeah,
Which means
the
it
puzzle
wasn't like
boxes.
he did any of the things that he had. He didn't or create the puzzles he sent out. He didn't write the story for this game. And again, this isn't like spoiler. Like, this is stuff that he himself says.
Yeah.
So the fact that a someone who is considered a world renowned detective being able to solve something that this guy bought and then set up himself, I actually fully believe that.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I felt so uncomfortable the whole scene only because I was like, oh no. No. Like if I spent all this time setting up this like elaborate mystery and then this person who wasn't even supposed to be there. We didn't even mention that. Miles has no idea why Daniel Craig's character Benoit Blanc is even there in the first place. He said he did not invite him, but then they kind of have this conversation where he says, well, is it possible one of your guests closed the box and redid all the puzzles and then sent it to me? And he's like, oh, that's probably what happened. Because they didn't have any replications. He had a person.
And he actually had the card that was the invitation that he sent out.
Yeah, and that's when it's revealed that the person, or I'm sorry, that's when it's revealed that Miles didn't make the puzzle boxes because he says, oh, I had Richard, whatever, or someone make these boxes, and he's the best puzzle maker, but he was down to the wire and he could only make so many of them. So that's like the offhanded way of like him admitting that he didn't even make these puzzles in the first place.
Yeah, again, yeah. So another where he just straight up said like, "Oh, someone else did this.
Yeah.
I just paid for it."
So yeah, Daniel Craig isn't even supposed to be there. So this scene of him like breaking down this weekends long murder mystery that he tried to set up is just a little heartbreaking. I was just kind of like, oh no.
I loved it. I thought it was hysterical.
It was hilarious, but I'm just like, no, like, oh, that would suck. That would suck. So, like, if you're the person who threw that party and this person just destroyed it in 2 minutes, be like, oh, okay, well, everyone just have some snacks, I guess. I don't know. Like,
Yep.
like, oh, that was nuts. But yeah, so okay, what do you have your next note? I like this.
Yes.
framework.
Okay. So there was something else that happened. Okay. So my next note was I had said the dinner staff is all gone. Oh, I'm noticing a lot of symbolism. Again with the Mona Lisa, which gets even more symbolic later on.
Oh,
But again, we already covered it. Like, this movie uses symbolism a lot in its storytelling. But I think around this time as well is when. Oh no, not yet. Okay, so next note is Pet and Whiskey are my. Oh, Peg and Whiskey were my biggest suspects at this time.
Okay, so you were also on the Peg train.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely either Peg or Whiskey that would have been responsible. So I believe now. So it's weird because now my note shows. No, okay. I think what happens now is Duke dies, right? Or is that not yet? Because
So
my next note is twin sister time.
so Andy storms away. Yeah, so Andy and the whole crew got into a fight because she's like, "You won't admit what really happened and just tell me the
That's
truth."
right. The whole okay, hold on. Yeah, so the whole group gets into a fight. She storms off, and then shit goes down.
Yes. And
No,
again,
no, she doesn't go down yet
well, not quite shit doesn't go down, but like they're all
with the
partying in
group.
the main
Just
room. Yeah.
emotions flare. People start yelling at each
Yeah.
other. Mostly
So
Andy.
so then there's a lot of setup again, like there's people bumping into each other, like dropping stuff into each other's drinks. Like there, like if you watch it again, there's a lot of moments where you can be like, "Oh, who did you put something in someone's drink? Did you bump into someone there and kill?"
Oh yeah,
You know
one
what I
thing
mean? Like,
that I saw at this time, I saw what I thought was weird, was after Miles was making his drink, he goes to sit down, and instead of setting his drink down, he sets it in Duke's hand.
dude, I didn't even see it. I got tricked
Did
by
you?
this.
I watched that. I totally saw
Audrey
that.
saw it too. The movie tricked me on it. I wasn't even looking at it. I honestly, and it's genius because later in the movie,
Because I said to myself, why did Duke take Miles' drink? Like, I thought Duke took it from him. Like, oh, I was like, but then I was like, wait,
yeah,
there's a drink
no,
in front of him.
I like later because later in the movie they flash back to that scene and they say, no, you handed him that drink, and like I won't.
Yeah,
well,
you just said that he picked it up.
Yeah, it's
but yeah, no, I remember seeing that.
no, that genuinely tricked me because I didn't notice it at all. I was kind of just following Edward Norton's motions and like what he was pointing at and things like that. Like it did genuinely get me in that moment. But yeah, there is a moment where Catherine Hahn's character Claire, the mayor, I believe, or running
Politician.
for governor. Yeah, she's a politician.
Governor.
Her character, there's a moment where she bumps into Duke, and like it's like you can't see on camera when they bump into each other what they're doing, but it almost looks like she like bumps into him and puts something in his drink or something. You know what I mean? Like it looks very on purpose, but
Yes.
clearly, obviously, I guess kind of spoilers. That was nothing. She didn't do anything. But it's almost like the movie keeps doing these little things to make you
Things
go,
that
"Oh,
could be."
what was that?
Like
What was
I thought,
that?"
was that when Andy took the gun?
Yeah,
when
those kind of
she
moments.
bumped into Duke, but no, that he still had the gun after that situation happened.
Yeah, little moments like
But,
that are very well set up. But yeah, so I guess this is all leading up to Duke eventually getting poisoned and dying, which I guess he wasn't technically
Okay,
poisoned.
something did happen before that, and it's something that we really need to talk about because the movie
Okay.
completely fucked up.
I might
here.
have forgotten.
Like,
okay.
okay, okay. So we talked about Duke dying. We talked about being given the wrong drink. Clearly, Duke drinks something that had something in it that killed him. Prior to that, he had a conversation with Miles about Twitch.
Okay.
And then it gets referenced that Miles set up Duke at Twitch. And all I could think was, did he go to Twitch's headquarters and have him create an account on one of their computers?
Yeah, I did. Okay, yeah, I didn't know where you. I didn't know where you were going
How
with this.
do you set somebody up at Twitch? You create a profile online; it's free.
Yeah, you just sign up and you make a profile. Yeah, I didn't know what that fully meant either. That felt like a boomer comment of like not fully understanding
not
the
understanding.
internet.
Like, no, you're not like getting like a TV series.
Yeah,
like you're getting.
You don't set someone up at Twitch like you just. Yeah, you don't get like a contract with Twitch.
Yeah, channel's not a TV channel.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah, okay, so but wait. So that was that the scene where he shows him the phone and he goes like,
Yeah, he showed him the phone and goes like, "Oh, with these numbers, I bet it does, baby." There's like, and maybe this is later when somebody is talking to him and references it, but it's just I remember the exact wording because I wrote it down that he set him up at Twitch.
"Oh, okay,
And
yeah. I think in that scene he's trying to get him set up on like his TV, his actual TV channel or like something like that. But I think
he wanted to be
Whiskey
on the news on the website of his
that's right. That's right.
his like news site.
Max News or something. I can't remember what it was called. Yeah.
It was for his project, the Alpha. It was like
Alpha News.
Oh, Alpha's head website. Yeah, there's like their whatever.
But yeah, I think Whiskey was the one who was like, yeah, he got him set up at Twitch. And
Whiskey. Yeah. Oh, and that's what really bugged me. I was like, Whiskey's the one that said he got him set up at Twitch, and it's like,
yeah,
I know
that's really funny. It's really fucking funny.
Okay, so I think that happened later on, but
yeah. By the way, even then, there's still like they set up the like when that moment of like Duke showing him the phone and being like, "Hey, I've got something. These are good numbers, right?" I thought that Duke was showing him the video of him fucking Whiskey, and I thought he was blackmailing him. Like, you know what I mean? Like there was still other implications that they set up that can make you think other things. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it was on purpose.
I thought that was him saying that he had killed her because, there was other notes that I had that I realized that at this point is when like the switch happened and the movie told you there's actually a twin sister. Because after I said Peg and Whiskey are my biggest suspects, next sentence was twin sister time.
No, wait, not yet. Wait, well, yes, they did reveal that here, but before they reveal that, they do have the party scene where Duke goes, "Hey man, I've got this video that's doing numbers."
Does happen.
Yeah,
that's right.
And then he shows him it, and he goes, "Is this enough to get me on the news?" But they don't say what it is. He just looks at his phone.
Okay, I think in that moment I thought that was legitimate.
Okay, yeah. Like for me and Audrey, we were just kind of
until the flip happened. Yeah,
because we knew that Duke hated Miles because of the cheating thing. So I was like, oh, maybe he's showing him like video of him fucking his girlfriend, and this is supposed to be blackmail. And he's like, oh yeah, this is enough to get you on news.
Weird,
like
blackmail.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think it's clever how they set up misdirections like
things to look like other things.
Yeah, so at this point, they do reveal that there's the twin sister motive where the Andy character is not actually Andy. It's Andy's twin sister because Andy was killed weeks prior.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, homie. I'm sorry. But again, there's an even better context to why she destroyed the puzzle box at the beginning, because she wasn't even a person who was someone who would like know these puzzles. Yeah, this is just someone who isn't even connected to it.
I had another kind of question.
Yes.
Well, no, not yet. We'll get to that one. But yeah, so it makes more sense that she destroyed the puzzle box because she wasn't solving those puzzles. And she even mentions how she's like, I'm not my sister.
Yeah, I don't have time for these fancy puzzles. Yeah, I like her like southern accent and how it kind of matches his southern drawl. They're just kind of both simple southern people. Not even simple. They're both smart. I don't want to say simple in that sense, but the accent gives off that kind of motive or motif,
Yep. Again, it's something you would easily put your guard down around.
Exactly.
And they clearly use it to their advantage incredibly well. Because... Go ahead, go explain.
Oh, no, so I was just going to say, so this is when the movie kind of twists it on its head where the murder mystery has now become who murdered Andy. Because Andy was murdered weeks prior at her home, and it was covered up as a suicide, and all of these people on the island are the active threats or the suspects of the murder. So it's interesting. I thought it was such a cool twist where the whole time you're trying to sit there thinking, damn, who would murder Miles? Who's the murderer of Miles? And then the movie goes, no, fuck you. You're actually trying to figure out who murdered Andy. And it's like, wait, what? Like, like,
Yup.
yeah, it was a great subversion of like that expectation.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're at the point where we know. Oh, and so the detective gets Andy's sister, which her name is. Oh my gosh, what was Andy's sister's name? Sandy.
Tommy?
Sandy.
No, fucking goddamn it.
Wasn't Beth.
I don't. Will it list both of her names? Because it was the same actress who played both of them, right? Technically,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
I mean,
list,
I feel like that would make the most sense.
yeah, it doesn't list both of their names because I think that's a spoiler. So on like IMDb, it doesn't list.
Unless it is a different actress.
It's not though.
Oh. But yeah, so her sister who is playing her,
Yes.
she goes along with the detective because
Helen?
and this was I did think was
Helen.
genius. Oh, Helen? Yeah.
Helen.
I did think this was genius. If she showed up on the island, whoever actually killed her would be the most shocked to see her. And I noticed that Miles was the most shocked to see her on the island when she got off the boat. But
Yes.
again, at this time, I also am not sure if it's just because he didn't actually expect her to show up.
Yeah, but again, that's the thing though, because one, everyone, it works because everyone already saw her get onto the boat to go there. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
they already know she's there, and then two, he's been inviting her every year for the last however many years, and she never showed up. So for him
Has
to be
he?
that surprised, oh yeah, that was like the whole idea is that he's been constantly inviting her to these, and she's never showed up. So that's why her
Oh,
showing
that's
up
right,
this
too,
time.
because the lawsuit between them didn't happen except for the past couple months.
Yeah. So he's always been trying to keep in contact with her because because of his guilt. Because it's also revealed that he stole her idea for this company, this alpha company.
Yep.
That
And he just had the money to steamroll her with lawyers.
essentially, and just which they're very vague about what the company even is. You know, it's just kind of like
An energy kind of company, energy technologies.
yeah, which they do bring in. Oh, we didn't mention that they do bring in that whole thing where it's like the small like it's like a
hydrogen.
yeah, I forget what it's called, but it's like this compound or this energy that can like be made to power an entire facility with like zero cost. But oh man, it's dangerous and it can explode. And I knew that was coming back. I was just like, oh man, there's no way they're not going to bring that up again. But yeah, so he's a very sketchy businessman. He's stolen ideas. He stole Andy's idea to create this company and basically annexed her out of it. And so yeah.
And before I get to
movie's
my
so
next
much to
note,
follow.
the thing that happens in the movie that lets us like get this behind the scenes that it's her twin sister is the fact that Andy gets shot and presumably killed while talking to Daniel Craig when all the lights go off and people are running around because they're trying to figure out who killed
that's a
Duke.
great scene. Yeah.
So the premise right now is that she's dead, and to someone that
there's
means
even
a second time.
Yes. Yeah. So now
My
now
next
she's
note
been
was I
killed
think Miles is
second.
behind her and her sister's death now.
Right. But then they even so there's even two layers to it where first there's the assumption that this woman has died twice, that she was killed first, she survived, now she's been killed again. Then you're made, you believe that this woman put herself in this situation of, possible danger and then died over it because Daniel Craig's character let her do it. Like there's almost this guilt attached to this. Like, why would she
Yep.
or why would he let Helen do this and possibly get killed, and then she gets shot and it's like, oh fuck, she starts bleeding. But yeah, and then it all leads into kind of a twist on all that, which I don't know if you wanted to say. I don't know if you had another note before we reveal
my
that,
next
but...
note is going to the next thing. So yeah, what ends up happening after they kind of go through the flashback. So again, they go from she shot and presumably killed. They flash back to show how he came to meet her. He convinced her to go along with him on this mission. They explained the boat trip, even the whole why was she staring off the boat for that long.
Yeah.
She was super nervous. She was trying
seasick.
to keep her calm. And on top of that, she was seasick. And I was like, oh, I like how the movie is actually going ahead and explaining itself. So we get to a point where we're caught back up with the moment where everybody was running around. So you're also getting like the viewpoint of her working with the detective during their time on the island and her listening into conversations that other people are having that adds just kind of more motive to the story.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
And then
she's been sleuthing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, which she gets drunk because she doesn't realize the hard kombucha has alcohol, and it is just a delight. I love that.
That was a pretty good anecdote. Yeah, because they mentioned she doesn't drink, and then she doesn't realize that it has alcohol in it.
That hard kombucha has alcohol. It's 9%. Damn you, Jared Leto.
Yeah, which is funny because Miles' character does kind of resemble a Jared Leto character, so I thought it was perfect.
Oh, and the Jeremy Renner, like they got all like the perfect kind of like characters for this.
Yeah, it was really good. But yeah, no, she so yeah, she gets to it and she kind of has her explosive. Like that. Oh, we didn't mention during Edward Norton's scene where he kind of has his disruptors like monologue about like why they're disruptors and why they're here to change the world. Like Andy's character, which we now know is Helen, interrupts him and he's just kind of like, she's just kind of like, really, you think that's what you did? Like you're full of shit, like all this stuff, and then storms off. And at the time, you think it's just like maybe a drunk Andy. Like you don't really know what's happening. Like you're just like, oh, she just got out her aggression. But then with more context later,
I just thought she was mad, and then she started stumbling off, like actually stumbling.
Well, I thought
she was sick.
The only reason I thought she was drunk was because they had mentioned the kombucha, and then I think Claire's character, Catherine Hahn, Claire's character goes like, she's not acting like herself, and they show a shot of Andy walking away and she's like stumbling, and I was like, oh, she's drunk, like she should.
Which was a scene that happened before we knew that was a sister.
Exactly.
Which is why we were more confused originally.
And that's why it works, because when she says, oh, she's not acting like herself, and then you see her drunk, you're like, oh yeah, she wouldn't be acting like herself because she's drunk. Like dude, it's like there is a
not her.
But she's actually not her. That's the thing, is like, but the movie makes you think like, oh, she's just drunk. That makes sense. But when you find out later, oh, it's actually not even her, it makes more sense. Like, yeah, it's the layers of the onion.
Yep. So now we're back at the dinner, and this is when my next line is, okay, dinner is now explaining a whole lot, and then I actually typed LOL. Which led to the Dukes getting set up at Twitch line, which again, that was So
this is after Duke has died, right? Correct? And after Helen has died, or Andy, quote unquote.
This is when I think people are like being a little bit more honest in the moment.
Yes.
And then I have I have a note, and maybe you can help refresh where it comes from. My note is, where was Miles' lawyer? And I don't remember what reference this was for. Like, did something happen that he should have had his lawyer in the scene for?
I mean,
or was there a scene where oh, that's right, in the courtroom, he didn't have a lawyer with him. He was sitting alone at the table. Well, all the witnesses were on stand.
I think the implication is that he'll represent himself. He doesn't even need a lawyer.
But they also explain that he's an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. An idiot would decide to represent himself.
But not get away with, all right. No, I do get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm not saying that he would win. He should technically win that. But yeah, that's the implication is that, like, yeah, like an idiot would just be like, no, I'll represent myself. You know? It's like, what? Okay.
But they mentioned his team of whatever. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. I can't defend that. I don't really know.
Oh, okay. So it was around this time that we also learned then that the reason that Daniel Craig got the box was from her. But my question was this. He killed her. So he knew she wasn't coming. How did she get a box? Did somebody send her a box?
Huh. You know, I might be misremembering something. Hey guys, Skorge here. So, we had a little technical issue near the tail end of the episode here and lost a lot of the audio. Not too much, but a good maybe 10-15 minutes of conversation. We wrapped up the movie and gave our final thoughts. We both very much enjoyed it. I believe we both gave it an 8 out of 10. And upon reflection, that might be a little high, but that's fine. You know what? It's too late now. Mitchell suggested for next week that we watch The Menu. We will be watching The Menu and talking about it when we come back. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Neon Valley Podcast. Make sure to follow our subreddit at r/Neon Valley Pod. Follow us on Spotify, anywhere you can listen to podcasts. Love y'all. Bye-bye.